Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Co-Creators Global Village at World Unity Week. You are in the convergence room of Mason Works, Love is the Way. And I am so pleased to introduce Kathy Mason. To tell you a bit more about Kathy, and I only just met her a few weeks ago, which was a pleasure. Kathy is an Amazon best-selling author, speaker, host of the show Conscious Business Zone, which is live on social media, podcast sites, plus Amazon Fire and Roku TV. She's an online sales specialist who works with conscious companies to help them grow. She is psychic and intuitive and can see your soul mission and help you create that vision now. Through her company, Mason Works Marketing, she lovingly supports her clients as a seasoned interactive strategy coach and implementer with a solid background in developing products and publicity across all digital platforms, internet, TV, mobile, in-store marketing, and social networks. She's a high-energy cause marketing expert with over 20 years of expertise at rolling out cutting-edge strategies for business building communications, implementation, training, and book or ebook publication. So welcome, Kathy.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We're getting texts from the audience on Facebook giving us some ideas of what to do. So welcome, everybody. I am so excited to have this opportunity. This is my third year of participating on World Unity Week and the first time that I've been a presenter. So I feel so honored, and thank you so much, Hasina, for introducing me today so that I could do my best to encourage people to know that businesses have a huge potential to change our environment and to help us guide to a better future. What I want to let you know, somehow I am not on speaker view. Hold on a second. Could you help me, Hasina, real quick?
Sure, there we go.
Okay. Are you seeing, because I'm showing my,
Are you still, okay, so I will pin you.
Thank you. That would help because I want to use my slides.
There we go.
Okay, I'm still seeing you. Okay, well, we'll hope that this works.
Oh, you can.
No. Okay. Okay, well, what I wanted to talk about today is how businesses, conscious businesses, can co-create the new future and create love as the way, as the new path. So what I want to do is show you a slide presentation that I've used before. Oops, let's make it giant again. And show you what I'm talking about, because I think once you have this inspiration, it may change the feelings that you have about corporates and all of the evil empire that that business has gotten. When conscious business is the path, each conscious business affects thousands of people. It affects conscious employees as well as conscious customers. So right now, I'd like to go through the presentation, but I also want to show you a book by Neil Donald Walsh, and I did the marketing plan for Humanities Team with Neil and the team. And one of his books is called The Storm Before the Calm. And we are in the storm before the calm. And what I'm hoping is that this presentation will help you see the path to the calm and use this business as conscious business. The other thing I'd like to say is for the past 3 years, twice a week, I have been doing a live show, an hour-long show on Facebook and on other platforms that features brilliant resources for conscious business. And I would love, love, love for everyone to be able to have the opportunity to see and use these resources during these times of change so that they could actually have a different insight into how to be. Because what we're talking about is oneness, and we're talking about love. So with that, I just wanted to explain a little bit. I want to go back in history a little bit because I don't know if everyone knows about this in America, but there is a thing called cause marketing. And cause marketing was started in 1983 by American Express. The American Express Corporation had a big promotion that if you paid the $25 that it used to cost to get an American Express card, $5 of that fee, that entry fee, would go to refurbishing the Statue of Liberty. And it was so successful, it started a whole trend in marketing. And I have been lucky enough in the past to teach this at the business school at my town at University of Colorado's business school, because not that many people know about it. Although if you go to the grocery store and you go down the even the clothes washing supply aisle, you'll see a lot of emblems that show breast cancer or other recipients of part of the proceeds from the purchase. And what I want you to know is cause marketing is real. Cause marketing works, and it will help you if you have a product or service and you want to donate part of the proceeds towards a cause. You have a real opportunity to be a win-win. My cell phone company, just so you know, my service company is called Credo Mobile. And I pay the same amount that I would pay for a regular cell phone service with Credo Mobile, but part of the proceeds go to a nonprofit. So there's so much of this that's out there. So back in the 80s, 90s, there was a organization that started in Chicago called Cause Marketing Forum. It's now called Engage for Good, where cause and commerce meet. And I would love to have your feedback if you go to that website and see what you think. But 63% of the respondents continue to want CEOs to make a stand on key societal issues, with income inequity, racial equality, and climate change as the top issues. So corporations are taking note of what society wants to change, and they're starting to fund it. There's over, I think I looked on it last night, I think there's 1,800 members of corporation members of this organization. So it's not very expensive to join if you are interested. It's at engageforgood.com. The other part of what's a huge trend that's been happening as part of conscious business is a thing called servant leadership. And servant leadership is where a leader focuses on not only the bottom line profits and the customer's experience with good customer service and good products and everything that entails, but they also put a huge amount of emphasis on their employees. And when they do that, profits soar. So in traditional business, at least in my experience, businesses have been more like a pyramid where the top CEOs, they pretty much are at the decision-making process of yes, no, not let's see what the whole downline wants to add. And in my experience of doing this for 22 years and then being a manager for Arthur Andersen, I ran a change enablement group of 80 people for Arthur Andersen. We back then, even 20 years ago, 25 years ago, we did everything in team. We sold in team, we did everything in team. I think the IT world is doing that as well. And they realize how important the employee is in the quality of services and an outcome. So a servant leader shares power, puts the needs of others first, and helps people develop and perform as highly as possible. So I went back to our origins. If you look at how the indigenous are, everyone sat in circle. Now you might have had the representative that was the father and the mother, and happy Father's Day for all of you. But you might have had that representative and possibly a medicine person as well, but everyone sat in circle. This wasn't concentric circles. This wasn't a pyramid where only the 3 top people made decisions for all. They realized how interconnected and how important everyone was. And that's what I hope you'll see that we're going back to. So Robert Greenleaf is the person attributed to making the term servant leadership important. He's the creator of the term. And this is a quote from him: "Leadership must first and foremost meet the needs of others. Good leaders must first become good servants." And so this is really important after what Santa said. You know, the idea is that we're all learning to communicate in a different way, to really listen and share and grow and want to grow. Whereas the old model is power, and it's really not very flexible. This is totally in flow, and it's very people oriented. So the way I learned about servant leadership was through Ken Blanchard, who wrote The 1 Minute Manager. And there are hundreds of books. In fact, I was on a sales training program for 3 days about a month and a half ago. And there was a lady on it that had gotten her PhD in servant leadership. Some servant leadership terms are used for for religious purposes, churches. But in my experience, it's being used in corporate America, and it really can make a difference in relationships. Now, when you think about business, well, I know if you look at it in a smaller micro version of the world, women always buy relationships. We call our girlfriend to see who the plumber is that we should use. We don't go to the hairdresser unless our girlfriend tells us to. We really use relationship as our guide as a consumer, and how we find the best books, the best movies, everything. So what you're seeing is businesses being very, very committed to having relationships. And I think if you look at, again, back into our past, all businesses, if you look at small towns everywhere around the world, they bought because they loved and appreciated and trusted the other people. So there was backwards, give and take. So there's another aspect of this, that servant leader looks at all these people that might be on their team, and instead of seeing them as problems, which maybe some of them might be at times, they look at them as gifts, because each one of them have this tremendous light and a genius that they came in with that may be the exact thing to solve all of these problems that we have going forward. And their creativity should be encouraged. But if you look at them, the old model was the manager had these people in a stable, and they'd pull the horses in, and there were tools. Each person was a tool. But what if we looked at each one of these people as a gift, and we treated them that way? They would shine. One of the things a servant leader must do is they must be committed to mirror back the beauty in each one of the team members and hold them to it. That's the growth. That's how you remember your favorite teacher from growing up. They saw a vision of you and they helped you shine. Let's see, make sure. So the other thing that this will be, for anyone who's sensitive, probably already knows this, but for those of you that are looking at business right now and can't quite see how this will work, I want you to put this concept on and try it on and see what you think about it. If we're a feelings economy, which is what we're building to, it's not just knowledge. Knowledge economy might have been 5 years ago, but now since COVID, we're a feeling economy because we are feeling an international association with everyone in the world. The oneness factor has anchored. So as a feelings economy, love energizes results. So when you love on that team of those people that I showed you in the slide before, you get high energy results. They outperform anything that they would do. They are not entitled. They don't have entitlement issues. They do not complain. They're part of a team. Mastering the skill of love in relationships is the most important activity you will ever engage in. And love in business is a skill. And if you haven't heard this before, this might be a little out there for you, but I just want you to try it on and see what you think. And especially after I give some more examples. So these are two of my dear friends. The gentleman on the left is Steve Farber. His brother, Bill Farber, was one of my clients and he's passed. And Steve Farber is a world-renowned business expert. He ran Brian Tracy's organization. So anyone who knows who Brian Tracy is, 20 years ago, he was the world most authority on business consulting and business high performance leadership. And look at the name of his book, Love is Just Damn Good Business. Now, this isn't sexual love. This is not, oh no, HR is going to have a field day with this. This is love your people and see how much better everything can be. The person on the right-hand side is another dear friend, Olivia Parr-Rudd, who is an IT expert. She's a Wiley author. She is remarkable, being brilliant. And she wrote this book a couple years ago called Love at Work. for the IT community. And she's a data expert, an online data expert. So you're seeing people coming out talking about love where it used to be you couldn't say anything about it. The other two people I wanted to bring up is Love at Work, which is Brady Wilson. And this is new to me, but I can show you, I have his book right here and I'm enjoying it immensely. And then the book on the right-hand side is Brad Hams. Now, Brad Hams he's brilliant. He lives here in Denver and he used to be in a mastermind with me. He's a brilliant consultant. He worked for a large international food company, and he went from Denver to Mexico to run a food production manufacturing facility. And what he did was he created ownership thinking in a manufacturing environment. Now, if any of you have been in a manufacturing environment, you know that there's a hierarchy that is really tough to change, especially if there's engineers and then there's the worker bees. So what happens is he implemented ownership thinking techniques. And this was 20 years ago, I bet. He implemented and they tripled their production. So this is what I'm saying is that people have been trying little aspect, almost like scientific experiments with it, and the performance goes off the chart. So love at work is really, really important. So in the Love at Work book, which, as I said, I just got it and I'm really, really enjoying it. It's new to me, but I love what they're saying. He actually, Brady actually has a servant leadership test. So this is what I want you to think about, because the only way we're going to have an equitable world is if we can shine the light on everyone's gifts and help each other increase our magnetic attraction to life. Happiness and joy and love are all combined in this recipe. So for his servant leadership test, these were his questions. Do those served grow as persons? And anyone who knows, who has been in a leadership role, you know that a leader must keep working to help grow their team. They're not just there to be a disciplinarian. They're not to be coordinating the staff or the projects, but through fear. It's like, hey, you take left, I'll take right. Let's see. Just like what we did with this group, Co-Creators Global Village. That's exactly what we did, what a servant leader would do. Okay. Then the next thing is, do they, while being served, become healthier, wider, freer, and more autonomous? That's a measure and a visible way to see how people are growing as they are part of the process. Are they likely to want to become servant leaders because of your serving? That's huge, because by example, if you are teaching by example of how to do it, then it's replicable. And as we said before, this kind of love is a skill. It's not just us sensitives can feel it. Everyone can experience this. Everyone can shine the light on their fellow person and give them the stage so that they can blossom. And what is the effect on the least privileged of society? Will they benefit or at least not be further deprived? So this is where you want the janitor or the person that's making the food in the cafeteria to have the same upliftment. If you're a servant leader, you want them to have the same benefits and growth as you would have a key member in your team. I want to use an example real quick for this so that you can understand it. I got to work, I guess about 15 years ago at a stainless steel manufacturing plant. There were probably, out of 150 people, there were probably 6 women. But the bookkeeper, all the admin staff, and me. They hired me as a consultant to help them grow a division. And the division was a water feature. It was a water wall company called Accents in Water. And when I got there, they were doing 150,000 a year. And they had been selling through designers, where designers would put it almost as a piece of art on the wall at the end of a project. So if you spent too much on the carpet, they might not have the money to buy the water feature or the water wall. Well, we did a marketing plan, and 4 burly men and me turned the company into $1 million division in a year. And what we did is it was team. It was the same thing as what we're doing with Co-Creators Global Village right now, where each person felt that their part was so important to the whole and were so excited, and they were recognized and they benefited by their participation, that to go from 150,000 to $1 million in 1 year was amazing. We did product improvement and everything. And so you can see that people dropping their egos can make a huge difference with all of this. And of course, that's what happened. So conscious businesses, what I'm using as a definition, conscious usually means someone's making a choice and they chose it with full capacity of having an overview to make a choice. And conscious businesses combined that conscious choice of practicing as servant leaderships while connecting to their values. And I can tell you from marketing, the marketing perspective, the values are one of the key magnetizers to your business. They consciously choose their actions and awarenesses of the effect for 7 generations. The indigenous use that knowledge as well to how they make decisions, how it's going to affect the future. So one of the big keys is we want to implement the changes for a more peaceful, loving future. And that's where this teamwork and the servant leadership can make a big difference. What I want you to see is, you saw just a few of the books that are available on conscious business. There are hundreds of them, literally. It is profitable. It's not just cause marketing. Cause marketing is profitable as well. But this whole idea of working from team and being aware of every single being that's on the payroll as an asset instead of an obligation makes a big difference. What I want to show you is that there are several ways that you can learn more and take courses that have been identified as stellar resources for how to run a conscious business. Sounds True, which is a media company that's based here in Boulder, Colorado. They have a course called the Inner MBA. And if you go to their site, I don't have a link right here, but if you just type in Sounds True Inner MBA, you will see how prestigious this has been. So we're talking about the people that are running huge corporations wanting to know this. They're taking courses like this online. They may have a mentorship program. They may be in mastermind groups where they're helping each other. But behind the scenes, you might not be aware of it because all we hear on the news is the negative. But there are so many ways for us to learn more, to grow to a peaceful, loving future. The other course I want to bring to your attention is Humanities Team. They have a conscious leadership course called The Art of Leading from the Heart with Steve Farrell. And Steve Farrell and Neil Donald Walsh started Humanities Team. And I don't know the exact date, but I got to go to Portugal and to Greece to help them build a marketing plan. And it's quite amazing what Humanities Team does. It's all based on oneness. So these are two very powerful resources for you if this really sparks an interest in you and you want to learn more. Now I'd love to tell you a little bit about conscious companies. And this is one of my favorites. And Bob's here. So Bob knows Darlis, and David and I got to go to this Cafe Gratitude in LA and also in San Diego. And Cafe Gratitude, there is a book called Conscious Commerce that my friend Kimba Aram told me to read. And I've read it several times. And what this company did, and this is just one idea of what you could do for if you are interested in having a conscious company. What they do, it's a restaurant. It's a vegan restaurant. It is absolutely light filled. There's lots of windows. There's sayings everywhere, quotes that you kind of feel good as you're in there. And what they did is they started as their policy, as their business policy, to pay their manager to come in hours early every single day and speak one-on-one for half an hour or as long as it took with every single employee before they went on to work. So they cleared them. They, when you think about restaurants, you can go and get terrible service because that person had the dog do something right before they left to go to work. And they're carrying that stuff, or their husband or wife did something or whatever. What Cafe Gratitude has done is they have set it up so that nothing can disturb and impair the employee from being in gratitude while they're at work. And their business has flourished. They have online, they have cookbooks. I don't know how many other locations they have. This was before the lockdown, but it is a joy to eat the food. The food tastes like love. I mean, so that's what we're talking about, is the energies are palpable and it magnifies and makes you more successful. So I want you to be aware of, and if you like vegan food, that's yummy. It's really yummy. And the cookbook's good too. Other conscious companies are Patagonia, which is a clothing company, which they have such integrity that if I had a Patagonia jacket that pilled 3-5 years later, I could return it and get either a credit for another jacket or get another jacket for free. I don't know how they do that financially. Ben and Jerry's, the ice cream, everyone knows Jerry Garcia ice cream from the Grateful Dead. But Ben and Jerry's was one of the first companies out of Vermont that did cause marketing, and they made it hip. Allbirds shoes, same thing. 10 Tree, Eileen Fisher, Uncommon Goods, Procter and Gamble. And I know when you see that word, you might not like them in general, but I grew up in Cincinnati, Ohio, which is the home of Procter and Gamble. And they have funded the symphony, the art museums. They do a lot of good work, and they're getting more conscious as well. And then another one is empowered. So I want you to look at these companies and go, okay, maybe corporate America may actually get the memo. Maybe corporate America really does want to make the world a better place and really does care about their employees. Maybe we can still make a difference and change incrementally so that the storm still has the storm before the calm. That's what we're in right now. But if we have good relationships, maybe that's not going to be so hard to do. And I just had to add this because I just love this. You don't need to be a fortune teller to see what's happening. So this is just to make it fun and hopefully get a smile out of everybody. But see, what's happening is that there's a wave of energy of people wanting to make a difference. And they join their whatever organization they're in, whether it's healthcare, education, whether it's corporate America, they joined it because they love something about it. And they love the customers, or the culture can help them love the customers. So what we're coming out of by being 2 years in a lockdown environment is people are starting to make a choice of what feels good, not just to make money, not the golden handcuffs that we've been living with for 50 years. So anyway, I really think that Kitty that's off of Instagram if anybody wants to see it. These people dress their cat up in all these cute outfits. They're so cute. Anyway, so one of the ways to start the process, besides asking yourself if you're a servant leader and going through that list of leadership questions, is to start working on your gratitude. Gratitude and appreciation on the David Hawkins scale is one of the highest vibrations that are known. And so I have a free gift that if you go to my website, masonworksmarketing.com, as a gift, please download this 30-day gratitude journal and do as much of it as you have time to do. But I think what you'll find is that when you start looking and starting your day with gratitude and ending your day with gratitude, it will be easier to love yourself and everyone else in your environment and forgive, because we're in a time where we have to let go of all of those things that don't serve us and go more towards the things that we want to co-create together. And again, that's masonworksmarketing.com. It's on my front page. You just click on the picture and it'll take you to get it. And then the other thing I again wanted to ask if people would consider doing, if you like this idea and you want to be inspired to run a better business, you know you have a calling. I went to a birthday lunch with my friend Miriam Schiff on Friday. She turned 76 and she has had an online radio show, a real radio show, not podcasts, a real live with the headset and the big consoles, and you walk into a building and commercial breaks and everything for 10 years. 10 years. She's been giving her love. I've only been doing it 3 years, but Miriam at 76 wants to get all of her stuff out now. So there's a whole lot of amazing people that are in our group that are going to be presenting for this week, as well as resources online that I would love for you to invite you to experience and maybe interact with in a way. All of these people are approachable. All of these people want to make a difference, and there's gems in everything they have. They, especially someone who's in their 70s that has seen so much. can share so much to make this world a better place. So I just wanted to leave on that note that at 76, she wants to have her own podcast and TV show. And why not? She's been doing it locally live for 10 years. And now she wants to make sure that her daughters and her daughters' daughters will know what she knows. Because as I said before, that 7 generations, the indigenous alchemy that is reappearing as we go through these shifting times is so valuable. It is who we are. We are all one and part of source. So that route back to fulfillment and joy and loving each other and learning to love yourself is really the path. Thank you.